Think about the last time you said sorry. Now think about whether you actually needed to. Maybe you apologized for having an opinion. Maybe you said sorry for asking a question. Maybe you apologized for taking up space in a conversation, for existing slightly too loudly in a room that was already yours to be in. Here's what nobody around you will ever tell you directly. Every unnecessary apology you give is a quiet transaction. And in that transaction, you are handing over a piece of your perceived value to the other person, without them asking, without them deserving it, and without you even realizing it's happening. Over-apologizing is not kindness, it is not humility, it is a psychological signal, and that signal says one thing very clearly to everyone around you: I am not sure I deserve to be here. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because I'm going to break down exactly what over-apologizing does to your identity in the eyes of others, why your brain keeps doing it even when you know it's hurting you, and the exact shift you need to make to stop it permanently. This is not about becoming rude. This is about understanding what real social confidence actually looks like at a psychological level. Let's get into it. There is a concept in social psychology called status signaling. Every single interaction you have with another human being, every word, every pause, every gesture is communicating your perceived status in real time. Not your actual status, your perceived status. And those two things can be very different. When you apologize unnecessarily, you are voluntarily lowering your perceived status. You are signaling to the other person and to everyone watching that you believe you are in the wrong, or that their comfort matters significantly more than your own, or that you need their approval to feel okay about yourself. And here is the brutal truth about human psychology. People treat you according to the status you signal, not the status you actually have. You could be the smartest person in the room, the most capable, the most prepared. But if your behavior consistently signals low status, if you shrink, overexplain, and apologize constantly, people will unconsciously assign you a lower position in the social hierarchy, and they will treat you accordingly. This is not cruelty. This is just how human social cognition works. We are wired to read behavioral signals and respond to them. And over-apologizing is one of the loudest low-status signals a person can broadcast. Now here is where it gets psychologically fascinating. The brain, specifically the amygdala, the part responsible for threat detection, has learned that apologizing prevents conflict. It has learned that saying sorry quickly de-escalates tension, avoids disapproval, and keeps social situations smooth. So your brain rewards you for apologizing. It gives you a tiny hit of relief every time you do it. And over time, this becomes a reflex, an automatic response, not to guilt, but to the mere possibility of someone being uncomfortable. You are not apologizing because you did something wrong. You are apologizing because your nervous system is trying to protect you from a threat that does not actually exist. And the people around you, they feel that they may not be able to name it, but they register it as anxiety, as instability, as someone who does not fully trust themselves. And that perception, whether fair or not, directly affects how much respect they hold for you. There is research out of the University of Waterloo that found something counterintuitive and powerful. People who decline to apologize in situations where an apology is not warranted, not rudely, just calmly and without guilt, actually report higher self-esteem and are rated as more competent and confident by observers. Let that land for a second. Not apologizing when an apology is genuinely not owed actually increases how capable and confident you appear to others, because it signals something rare. A person who has assessed the situation and concluded that they are not in the wrong. That kind of self-assurance is magnetic. It is uncommon. and it makes people pay attention. Now, I want to draw a clear line here, because this is where a lot of people get it wrong. There is a massive difference between refusing to apologize when you are genuinely wrong and refusing to apologize when you are not. Real accountability, owning a mistake with sincerity, directly, without excessive groveling, is a sign of high confidence and emotional maturity. That kind of apology actually raises your status, because it shows you are secure enough to admit error without falling apart. What destroys your status is the other kind. The reflexive sorry, the apologetic laugh before you share an opinion, the sorry to bother you before a completely reasonable request, the sorry but before you set a limit that was yours to set. Those apologies are not coming from conscience. They are coming from fear. And people feel the difference even when they cannot articulate it. So what does this actually look like in practice? Let me give you the specific shifts. The first shift is replacing apology with acknowledgement. Instead of, "I'm sorry I'm late," say, "Thanks for waiting." You are acknowledging the situation without voluntarily lowering your status. You are showing awareness without signaling guilt. This one change alone in how you handle minor social friction will start to shift how people perceive you within weeks. "Sorry, can I ask you something? Sorry, I just think sorry to interrupt." None of these require an apology. Replace them with directness. "Can I ask you something? I think one thing I want to add." Direct language signals confidence. Apologetic filler signals anxiety. Choose your signal deliberately. When you say something that creates friction, when you decline a request, share a conflicting opinion, or hold a position someone disagrees with, your nervous system will scream at you to apologize and neutralize the tension. Resist it. Let the silence exist. Let the discomfort sit. You do not owe anyone the performance of guilt for having your own perspective. The fourth shift is reserving real apologies for real wrongs and making them count. When you do apologize, and sometimes you genuinely should, make it clean, direct, and without excess. "I was wrong about that. I apologize. That's it." No spiral. No long explanation, trying to win back approval. Own it and move forward. That kind of apology carries real weight precisely because it is not given away constantly. Here is the deeper layer beneath all of this. The reason over-apologizing is so hard to stop is not behavioral. It is if you have spent years using apology as a social survival tool to avoid conflict, to keep people comfortable, to stay safe, then at some point, the apology stopped being something you do and became something you are. It became part of how you understand your place in relation to others. Changing that is not about learning a new habit. It is about rebuilding a belief. The belief that your presence does not require justification. That your opinions do not require permission. That taking up space in conversations, in rooms, in relationships is not something you need to apologize for. You are not an inconvenience. You are not a burden. You are not too much. And every time you apologize for existing in your full capacity, you are agreeing with a story about yourself that was never true. Power Layers exists to dismantle that story one psychological layer at a time. If this challenged something in how you see yourself today, that means it was meant for you. Subscribe, because the next video goes even deeper into the psychology of how you show up and why the smallest behavioral signals are either building your credibility or quietly destroying it every single day. I'll see you in the next one.